Although it isn't one of the more exciting topics, it's helpful to talk about the mechanics of APA-style citations and references at this point. Understanding when and how to use them will be important as we compile knowledge. After seeing all of the citations in the articles and realizing I include citations and references as part of the criteria for several assignments, you might be wondering why we go to so much trouble. The reason for the citations and the references is related to ideas I mentioned earlier in class. They help us give credit where credit is due and help us locate the primary source. But why all the trouble with the formatting? The consistency makes it easier to identify the information we need, like we talked about with the content. Sometimes I joke it's also like a secret decoder ring for academics. If you can format things according to their style, you can be in the club. Citations are like shorthand we need to locate the more detailed information in the corresponding entry in the references section. The references entry includes all of the details we need to find a source. Another way to think about it is that the citations are like a sign pointing us in the right direction, and the references are like a map telling us exactly how to get there. The publication manual of the American Psychological Association is the definitive source for APA-style writing and formatting. A new edition of the manual was published in the fall of 2019, and it included changes that make citation formatting much easier if you were familiar with previous versions. The 7th edition includes 2 citation styles, parenthetical and narrative. We use parenthetical citations when we're using the ideas from another article and don't directly refer to the author or authors of that article in the sentence. If we directly refer to the authors, then we use the narrative format. The reference guide in the resources includes examples of sentences using the 2 different formats, and you can also look at the articles you summarized to find examples. Note, though, that the specific formatting might be a little different because of the recent changes. The difference between the 2 types of citations is primarily in how the information is formatted. More specifically, the placement of parentheses, whether commas are included, and whether it's written out or represented by a symbol. All of the information in a parenthetical citation is inside one set of parentheses, whereas narrative citations only put the parentheses around the year of publication. Given that, it probably makes sense that the parenthetical citation places a comma before the year to separate it from the author information, and the narrative format doesn't. The parentheses serves the same function. In the parenthetical format, the focus is on providing the reader with the information they need to find the original source as efficiently as possible, so the formatting uses as few characters as possible. Given that, a parenthetical citation uses the ampersand symbol instead of writing out the word and. The narrative format includes the information as part of the sentence using normal grammar, so we write out the word and. Here's another way to think about whether or not APA style uses the word and or the symbol. You might find it's helpful to pause the recordings to read the examples. The content of the 2 types of citations is pretty much the same. Both have 2 parts, the author information and the year of publication. The author information only includes the last names of the authors, no initials or full names, unless you cite 2 articles by different first authors who have the same last name. The guides include information about what to do in that circumstance. When there are 2 authors, the names are always in the order they appear on the paper. That's a status thing, so we don't want to change it. When there are 3 or more authors, though, only the first author is included. We use the term et al. In place of the other names. That translates to and others.